This is Black Country Blokes chewing the fat.
Listen.
I've been hearing a lot lately about men don't talk, but in my experience, men do talk, just people aren't listening. So it's going to be me and a group of blokes discussing our struggles and victories through life. Warning, there may be some bad language, so apologies to all the moms, especially my own. Let's get going.
Listen.
Abin, yeah, this is the Black Country Blokes chewing the fat about everything it is men's mental health, disability, and life in general. Here with me, Kev Dillon, and my partner, as always, Lee Cadman.
Not that type of partner.
Not that. Nothing wrong with that nowadays. But has been a great weekend, wasn't it, Lee? Being one of the baton bearers, the last one through the Black Country.
Oh, we could go into gratitude first, Kev, but
Well,
if you want to kick off with that.
Well, that's what I am going to say. Like, in fact, Lee, what are you grateful for?
I think we know what you're grateful for. But for getting back in the gym. Got it back in the gym yesterday, and it's fantastic to be back in there and relieve some stress and burn some of my energy. I had a better night's sleep last night because of it. But I'm feeling it today, feeling the aches today.
Are you feeling them?
I am, mate. I am.
And if when you ain't done it for a while, you know, there's a good ache in that, but sometimes when you have just pushed yourself too hard and you can't straighten your arms out or you can't sit down properly.
I think the problem was that it's probably been 6 weeks since I trained last. Maybe a bit less. I can't even think. So in my mind, I still think I'm 6 weeks back where I was a lot fitter. So I went in there and actually tried to kill myself, basically. Which probably the wrong way to do it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, man. But I'm grateful for, I was nominated one of the baton bearers, and I was the last one to do it through the Black Country. So me, Shaz, and what was nice about the baton bearers, there's me, Shaz, from the Council for Kingsman for the War Leave. But a lot of them were young, weren't they, Lee? And they were young, like they're teenagers in schools and all this, and they carried it through different parts of Bradley Hill. And then Shaz walked it down onto Merry Hill, onto the waterfront, and I carried it from the waterfront, by the bars, over the bridge, onto the barge, off the barge, onto the stage. And I was emotional. And I was talking to the guy, and he was saying, like, to me, but you did it in London, where you took it to the Palace. I went, that was wonderful going to the Palace with the band and all this. But it was different when it's in your own neighbourhood. And all the lines turned out, and people said there's 3,000 people there. And when you know a vast majority of them, it gives you a croak in your voice. When I had to get on stage and do a bit of a talk, I was not nervous, but very, very emotional.
Aware of what people there, I suppose, as well.
And just that, thank you for making the time to come out.
You're just nervous about stepping on that barge, really, wouldn't you?
But even that, we were laughing about it, like, because there's some wonderful people who were saying, don't worry, Kev, we'll get you on the barge first. And they were doing their bit from Dudley Council. But then the Commonwealth Games team, they hadn't agreed it with them, and they were saying, well, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Well, it's fine for you as a sighted person telling me. But I'm blind in my left eye and I've got less than 10% in my right eye. I might look fine, but I'm going to be in front of thousands of people with a baton in my hand. I want to make sure that I can get on the barge safely. Because, you know, as much as I like to pretend I don't care what people think, you don't want to make a fool out of yourself, do you?
You don't want to be the one who drops it in the canal, do you?
Precisely. And like when you're on the canal, holding it, I say, put your arms up. And I was thinking, don't be the guy, Kev. Don't be that guy. I want to be a YouTube sensation, but not that guy.
Just imagine what that would have done for our listeners, Kev. Sometimes you got to take one for the team, and that was your moment.
But it was really emotional. Then jumping off the barge, and then Clive and Dan from Black Country Radio having an interview with them, but it was lovely how many people made the time to come and support us. And we're saying the opening ceremony is this Thursday, and it doesn't seem real that it's happening this week, does it?
No, it does. It's been quite odd, the whole build-up, to be quite honest. I don't feel like I've heard enough about it, but looking forward to it now. Looking forward to it starting. And I suppose you are. You're going for the opening ceremony and a few of the games, aren't you?
Well, we're going this Thursday, me and Kate. They've got us good seats, so even though I won't be able to see a lot of it, but I'll see the fireworks and listen to the music.
Feel the atmosphere.
Feel the atmosphere. What I am disappointed with, and it's not knocking the band, Duran Duran's the headliner, and I'm not knocking Duran Duran, but I'm thinking, well, we've got so much wonderful talent in this area. You know, the Ozzy Osbournes, Robert Plants, to Beverly Knight, to UB40, even like Robbie Williams is only from Stoke, but through the West Midlands and the Midlands in general, we've got so much entertainment. And I'm thinking, why are we importing it in a sense? We should be so proud.
Can afford them round here, that's all it is.
What's that?
They can't afford the bands from round here.
Well, yeah. But even then, you'd be doing it on the house or as close, your expenses or whatever. Because, wow, in Brum, in the Midlands, and it's fantastic. But I'm saying that, hopefully I'm going to get there on Thursday, and this time, next week, I'll just be singing how brilliant it is. Then on Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to the boxing with loads of us from the Lions. Then the following Wednesday, I'm not going, but Mum and Dad are taking 11 kids down from the age of 12 to 14, and they've all got to be in the Lions gear, holding up the banner. And what an opportunity that is to go to a Commonwealth Games. It's going to be watched all around the Commonwealth. And Osama Mohammed, one of my boxers who boxes for England, he's going down on the Sunday to be behind stage watching the boxers because, we're going to get him there. He's been to Europeans now, 3 nations, hopefully going to the Worlds. But success breeds success. And if you're around successful people, be it sports people, you're absorbing it and learning the tricks of the trade before you're even getting there yourselves, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic opportunity, isn't it, to be behind the scenes and just watching how people... You know what? It always surprises me when we do the home shows, the people who get nervous. And I think that's a good thing to see for younger boxers. Or people coming, you see the people you look up to in the gym and they're getting nervous and they're pacing and you see their reaction. You're going, well, actually, it's absolutely fine to be like that. You don't need to hide it. Get on with it. Get the nerves out because as soon as you step in the ring, it goes anyway, doesn't it? So I think it's that experience as well is great.
Well, Noel Farrell, who's going to his Commonwealth Games, has been on our podcast. Great bloke, boxes for Second City, boxes for his dad, Paddy Farrell, great bloke. And it was great. And I said, do you get nervous? He goes, oh, Kev, I'm being sick and I'm through. And that's great when you're saying I've had over 100 bouts, but I still get nervous. And it's great when your superstars are telling you that. And so I'm not a wimp. I'm not a weakling to be. And he goes, no, you're a human being. You're getting up there and having a fight in front of how many people? Richie Woodall, ex-world champion, bronze medalist at the Olympics, boxed the best. Roy Jones Jr., Joe Calzaghe, to say a few. And he said, I was nervous, not about fighting people. I wasn't nervous about fighting Joe Calzaghe or Roy Jones. I was nervous about getting embarrassed, getting stopped in the first round and getting... So, no matter what level you have, we just have different ways of hiding it, don't we?
Yeah.
We've got the same emotions, but different people have got different ways of pulling the wool over your eyes.
Well, I do think you get the odd ones who aren't nervous.
They're called lunatics.
Well, you do see it. I mean, Mike Tyson, he was the opposite. He got really nervous. You wouldn't see that with him walking down. He was all bravado, walking to the ring and pounding his guts, but he was terribly nervous. But then you look at Tyson Fury when he's backstage and he looks cool as a cucumber. He doesn't look like anything in the world. And the same with Lennox Lewis. He always seemed really just relaxed and calm.
But he used to fall asleep. But it's amazing what goes on in your head, though, isn't he? Like sometimes, you might see someone like Tyson Fury. I'm not saying this is true because I don't know him, but it might be bravado. He's laughing and joking because he's really thinking, "Oh my God, how about?"
Yeah, that's his way of dealing with nerves.
It is, isn't it?
It might be, or he might just be really relaxed.
And he might just see it for what it is. And sometimes, when you see someone like a Tyson Fury, who's boxing since he was a baby, it's second nature.
See, I don't think, for me, I don't think it's just that. I think he's been through worse in his life.
Yeah.
Like what's ultimately, he's already been close to death where he's nearly committed suicide himself. So really, what is it to him to get into a ring at that point? Something he's done all his life that he enjoys doing, that he's trained to do. It probably just doesn't haunt him at all to do it.
And it's his medicine.
Yeah.
He does that to avoid the other stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, boxing aside, I'm sad you've just told me off air that it's rumoured that boxing won't be in the Olympics in 2028.
28. I don't think it's a rumour at all now. I think it's actually official. No boxing in the Olympics in 2028. I think it's boxing and weightlifting. So, yeah.
It's heartbreaking because we get a lot of our medals in boxing. Then, unfortunately, if we're not getting medals, we're not going to these tournaments, then the GBs, England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, you lose funding. And you figure, what a blooming shame. When we're so good at it. If you look at a lot of the world's boxing, England, GB, we're really rocking it in the pros because we've had such a good pedigree.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, it's such a shame. But boxing aside, what I love about the Commonwealth Games and Olympics when they're on, I find it always being on the background. And I find myself watching hockey and diving and whatever's on, gymnastics, weightlifting. And I find myself just amazed by how these human beings can do what they do, running so fast, doing so many somersaults, lifting such weights. Me and Jasmine in the Olympics, we were watching Taekwondo, and then she started doing it, my daughter. And I think it just opens your eyes up to so many different sports. And hopefully that's what it's going to do to Birmingham and the surrounding counties, of getting people going, you know what? I do want to do sprinting. I do want to do pole vaulting. I do want to do wrestling. I do want to try something. Because I think the beauty with sport is if you try it, you never know. You might just love it.
Yeah, and it's and again, all of them, anything you do within regards to sport, I guarantee it'd be better for your mental health and physical health, without doubt.
Well, you find communities in your sport because you've got like-minded souls. No matter what you're doing, ping pong, boxing, taekwondo, gymnastics, if you're there, often the people at your level want to be there. Obviously, in your novice classes, some people want you to go because your parents want you to go or your friend. But once you get to certain levels, then you're there because you want to be there. And it's a good way of having an open ground to talk about something, isn't it?
Yeah, without doubt. And you will share the same experience as those people there a lot of the time. So I don't know if you're going away on camps for your sport, and there's that bit of loneliness, that bit of missing family. Someone else has been through that who's already in your camp, can guide you through it all. So yeah, it's great shared experience.
I mean, obviously, we're boxing men and love boxing. And it's great when you have lads there and they lose, and one of the other team members will put their arm and go, I've lost, or I've got stopped, or I've felt like I've had the wall pulled over my eyes. And or all right, then you've won. You've either won on points, you've stopped him, go over and shake his hand. And it's great when people of their gym or their heroes or people they train with can give them advice. It's okay, or do this, or always make sure you shake the hands and be polite. And it's great, isn't it? And that's what sport does. It gives us an avenue to be our best selves, be humble in defeat and gracious when we win.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know we've had so many boxers come on here, and they say, like, when I've gone and boxed in Liverpool or Birmingham or Monkstown or wherever, that has allowed me to go to job interviews and be positive, because I'm thinking, well, I've been there really frightened. What's the worst that this person can say? No, you haven't got the job.
Yeah.
And I think it teaches you manners as well. When you go there, to shake hands, be gracious. If your coach tells you off, shut up, put your head down and say sorry.
And
listen.
I think is what he said.
And sometimes they're lost skills, aren't they? Sometimes you tell someone off and they go, "Ugh," and they storm off. And you're thinking, you're not going to survive in the real world if you can't have criticism.
Mm.
And the world's full of that, because you either make excuses or you make changes. But so many people are happy making excuses.
It's easier to make an excuse, not looking and see what was wrong.
But those kind of people don't achieve. And those people won't be going to the Olympics, won't be going to the Commonwealth Games, won't be winning world titles. Because the world has a way of finding out when you're a cheat. If you haven't done as many push-ups, if you haven't done as many rounds on the bag, if you haven't been doing your runs, if you've had that Mars bar, if you're not willing to put the time in, the universe doesn't give you the rewards. The best friend to any success is hard work and determination.
Dedication.
What did I say?
Determination. Both are right. I was just adding mine to it. You got to be dedicated to it, and turn up. And that's anything. You've got to be willing to turn up each and every day. I don't think it's even sacrifice. A lot of people say it's sacrifice, but if you're doing something you enjoy, how are you sacrificing? I've never understood that mentality.
In life, you're always going to have to sacrifice something, but sometimes the things that you're not sacrificing, like sometimes, like with a coach, and that's why it really touched me on the weekend, how many people turned up. Because when you're going all around the country and you're missing weddings and funerals and birthday parties and nights out, you're sacrificing sometimes your family time. But it's nice when people give you their time to say thank you. Like when I was on the radio, they said, was you nominated? And I went, of course I was nominated. I went, I don't nominate myself things. What's the point? Because the touching thing about when you're nominated is someone has taken the time to nominate you. They've had to think, you know what? I want to nominate Kev or Lee. And then I've got to write out the form. And then just by that, someone thinking about you is a reward in itself. You know what I mean? I'm not knocking anyone if they want to nominate themselves to get awards, but if I wanted to get badges, I'd have stayed in the Scouts.
Do you know who nominated you, Kev?
There was a few people.
Was it?
A few, and that was once again was touching, but I can't remember the different people. There was about 5 or 6, and it was lovely because they keep coming in. You keep sending them over to me, and then I had the Black Country Blokes email, then there was my email, the mum and dad's email, and we were having different ones coming in.
Yeah.
And that was
pretty
really
annoying.
Yeah. But that's when it's touching because you're thinking, I know it was Dave Tyler who nominated me for the Hometown Heroes. I know it was Annie Mulaney that nominated me for the Platinum Jubilee thing. But there was a couple of people, I can't remember the names. But isn't it flattering? And then I know it was like Adam Davies and Claire and some of the other people on the Dudley and Bradley Council were really pushing for me to be the last person to have the baton.
Yeah.
Because I said it's nice. Because originally they put me in Tamworth, hadn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was thinking, well, I ain't being funny. My wife's going to have a day off work. I can't drive and get there. If you take me to Tamworth, it'll be me, Mom, Dad, my mother-in-law. But if you get me here, and look how many people turned up. And you're thinking, it was so badly organised in that, because you're thinking you want your people there.
Yeah.
Even if it's in Bromley or Wolverhampton, but get as close to your neck of the woods as you can. Because, then the local people come out. And you know what they also do? They spend money. They go to the pubs, they go to the cafes, they go to the fish and chip shops, and they're spending it out there. And it's blooming heck, I haven't seen you in years. Who are you here to see? I'm here to see the cricketer. I'm here to see the boxer. And you're going, wow, isn't it great around here that we've got so many wonderful people who are representing our community?
Yeah, it was a great day. Obviously, I came along. I was speaking to Kerry Davis actually a lot of the time. And anyone out there, go on More Mascots, please, and check out the work she does. If you haven't seen the podcast, radio show, sorry, we had it on radio, didn't we? You haven't seen the radio or heard the radio show we did with her. It's absolutely fascinating lady. Does a lot for children with disabilities. It's just brilliant. It was great to actually catch up with her outside the radio and talk without a mic in front of us, I suppose. And
she's remarkable. But that's what I love from the boxing, what I love from the podcast, what I love from the radio. You meet so many wonderful people, don't you? I was in the pub afterwards, funny enough. I stayed there most of the night. And I was talking to another Baton bear, and he works with disabled children. And you talk, and it's very humbling. And once again, what we started is, yes, for mental health. But there are so many wonderful, brilliant people who are doing fantastic things all around the area, all around the country, all around the blooming world. But we don't have enough attention on them. And because they're selfless, beautiful people, they don't do it for the glory. They do it just to be good. So what we try and do is get as many of these people on to actually give them the acknowledgement, don't we?
Just give the acknowledgement, and hopefully there's people out there who then give them the support, whether that be with volunteering themselves or money, or just to get their word out there so everyone does know about the work they do, but they can also help them.
And help them to get into something. So you're going, I like boxing. I never knew there was a club down the road in Bromley Hill that would allow disabled people to come there. Or my son's got autism, or I'm disabled, but I want to play football. Wow, I didn't realise. Or there is support groups for people. And I always think there's not enough of this on mainstream media, with hotlines, with support groups, with accessibility to different sports halls. Like, I'll keep laughing about this. But like the heat wave. People will die. Thousands of people will die with this heat wave. You're going, blooming heck. When your daughter is disabled, you take precautions. But I remember back in the day, it's going to be hot. Great news, guys. It's going to be hot. If it gets too hot, sit in the shade. Yeah. Have an ice lolly.
Drink some water.
Put your suntan lotion on. I woke up, my daughter had tonsillitis. And we woke up, she was up in the night, and it was, all right, guys, health warning. Close all the windows, draw all the curtains, and sit there in pitch black. I was thinking, is this for real? It's, pop out, you can't water your garden, you can't do this, don't have water fights, don't do it. And I'm thinking, how about we just enjoy it?
Yeah.
For the few days that we've got it, once again, if someone's got dementia, if someone's got extra needs, obviously, we take better precautions. If your children are outside, you pile the factor 50 on them, put a hat on them. But apart from that,
Yeah, I found it all bizarre, closing schools and doing all this. You just think, my God, you just used to get on with it. You're lucky if they opened the window at school when it was boiling hot, or if the windows opened. And yeah, it did. It was very, very weird. But there's people out there who it will affect, like my daughter. But we know it's going to affect her. So as you said, we take the precautions to lessen that effect. And ultimately, there's nothing you can do about it in terms of the sun. You can't block it and stop it, So you just get on with your day, enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Like, I shut the gym on the Tuesday and Monday and Tuesday. My daughter had tonsillitis. It was scorching heat, and I thought, it's the end of the day. It's out of season, so let people go and enjoy it.
Yeah,
I know some clubs open, some closed didn't. That's all on our discretion. But I was thinking, and people were saying, "Oh well, in Brazil they box." But I'm not Brazilian. You know what I mean? And I thought, it's the end of the day. Kids will have been at school. People have gone to work, and I thought, for the sake of 2 days, my daughter's not well. Shut up the gym. But as you say, like when we were at school, you'd have snow up to your waist, ice in there, and it wouldn't shut down.
Well, this is what I don't get. Like for me,
that is dangerous to get there.
When it's icy on the roads and whatever on the paths, it is actually dangerous to get there, and they don't close. But then it's warm, and it's like, well, we got it shut. But anyway, I suppose that's up to the schools. But yeah, I didn't quite understand it. I didn't understand. It all seemed a bit mad.
But you take your kids out to go on holiday or to go to a wedding, they'll find you.
Well, all my children went to school.
Did they?
Yeah, even Calla, who struggles with the heat, she went to school and was absolutely fine. But again, the school knows us. They know they've got to keep it cool, so they take precautions to do that. They have fans everywhere. They close the blinds, don't close the windows. That's a bit unkind, but yeah, so they take those precautions to make sure she's as safe as she can be.
But they're people in the know, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I think, I remember the days when being at school and you'd have had that heat and you weren't allowed to take your blazer off.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd say, "Sir, I'm dripping and I'm one of live sweaters. I don't sweat or rain." And I think, like, "Sir, can I take me?" "No, Dylan, no." And I'm thinking, come on, man.
as he's walking around in his short sleeve shirt with his nice drink.
How come, primary school now, how come kids don't wear ties?
Well, you're asking me that, Kev.
No,
my son did. I don't know.
My daughters didn't know anymore. No, I always remember having to, because when I was, you had the on the elastic at first,
yeah.
and then you learned how to tie it. But now I was thinking the other day, why don't kids wear ties anymore?
My son did.
Did he?
Yeah.
All the way through?
Oh, Christ, probably not. I don't know. I couldn't tell you
maybe
when he
it's just
started
about-
wearing them.
Maybe it's just about school, but I was just thinking, how strange.
All right. If anyone knows the answer to that question.
But even that, he was tight. Like your collar was there, and you think, "Blimey, nigga, you don't undo your top button."
That's where the questions come from.
Yeah.
With, it was getting a bit warm.
Yeah, but you'd undo your button, nigga. You can't undo your top. I'm thinking, "Sir, I'm dying." And those were the days where you couldn't drink in class either, was he?
I don't think you can still, Kev. I mean, I'm not up on the school thing, but I don't think they let you have alcohol in class.
No, yeah. I'll have the Scotch on the rocks. Do you remember that at school? But like your teachers,
What, your teachers drinking Scotch on the rocks?
no, but your teachers,
Sit there with a cup of tea.
No, they'd all be smoking at dinner time, or they'd all. I remember all the teachers going to the pub at dinner time, and they were always sounder in the afternoon than they were in the morning.
Yeah, what are you doing at the pub? How do you know they're at the pub?
No, you'd see them over at the Fox and Goose and whatever. You'd see them all going off.
I think you've just dobbed yourself in for Skype in school and going to the pub. I hope your mum ain't listening. Well, I do. I hope she is, but not for that. Need all the listeners we can get.
It's funny how times have changed, isn't it? How, people, even like with sporting events, we were talking about this the other day. The boxing was always sponsored by like Budweiser or Benton and Hedges and all this. But now it's no alcohol, no cigarettes, nothing like that. But you've got everyone gambling. And like we've had like Matt Smith on, and you say like gambling's just as deadly as drink or drugs or fags, isn't he?
Yeah. From Bet No More UK, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Absolutely great. Twice we've had him on.
Yeah.
Twice. Fascinating, wasn't he? Absolutely fascinating to talk to him about gambling and that addiction.
And he's saying like going all around the world, working for Talk Sport and all these major things, and he had the monkey on his back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so easy, isn't it? And like when we've had different communities on, and everything happens in every community. And I think where we lose is, oh no, that doesn't happen in our community. Oh no, that doesn't happen. We're too rich for that problem, or we're too, We're too religious for that problem, or we're too. Everything happens everywhere, And I think once you realise that everything happens to everywhere, it's kind of a nice break, because if we're all the same, then we've already got something in common to talk about.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier with the coaching and boxers watching the other boxers there. You know, you got something in common with them. You know, they're all in the same boat, aren't they?
I think that's it with people. We've got to stop focusing on what we haven't got in common and focus on what we have got in common. You know, and I think once we do that, you know, the world's a much happier, nicer place.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think that'll do us for today. So we're going to be back next week. I'll tell you all about the opening ceremony, and always write your comments in. If you have got time and you listen to this on Apple Music, please leave us a 5-star rating and leave us a comment. Always leave us comments. We'll always try and get back to you. So I'll just leave you there. The best friend to success is determination. All right, guys. So until we see each other next time, I want you all to take care of yourselves and each other. Ta-ra a bit.
Listen.
And that's a wrap for another show. But if there are any comments or messages that you would like us to read out for our next podcast, please be in touch. There are also lots of different organisations at the bottom of this page, and hopefully they can help you or someone you care about. Please share this to spread the word. Until we talk next time, ta-ra a bit.